Hey everyone, today let's talk about something that's, well, it's pretty heavy. It's this idea that weighs on anyone in a position of trust, whether you're a leader, a parent, or really any one of us. We're talking about the weight of justice. So, let's get right into it.
So, think about this for a second. What really makes a good leader? Is it just about having power or influence, or is there something deeper going on? We're about to explore a really powerful answer to that very question. And believe me, it's one that has some pretty massive eternal consequences. And to help us unpack this, we're going to turn to a really powerful teaching from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's actually a pretty short statement, but wow, is it profound. It just lays out this incredibly important principle for anyone, and I mean anyone, who's been entrusted with some kind of authority. All right, so let's get to the heart of it. The whole teaching kicks off with this really important distinction. It's not just about, being handed power. It's about when someone actively goes out and seeks it. And that little detail, it changes the entire game. The specific example used here is the office of judge, right? I mean, that's a role with huge power over people's lives. But you've got to see that the principle here goes way beyond a courtroom. The real key is that pursuit of responsibility. Because the second you get it, that's when the real test starts. And right from that moment, from that point where authority is gained, two very different paths open up. So let's start by looking at the first path, the one that leads to, well, the ultimate reward. Okay, pay close attention to the wording here because this is so important. It doesn't say if he is perfectly just or anything like that. No, it implies there is an internal struggle, right? A constant battle between our good side, our fairness, and our potential for tyranny. For you to succeed, your sense of justice has to actively win. It has to prevail. And what's the reward for winning that internal fight? It's laid out with zero ambiguity. Paradise. Talk about a powerful motivator, right? It's a reason to stick to what's fair and right, no matter how much pressure you're under. So, that's one path. But now we have to look at the alternative. Because every choice has a consequence, and this teaching presents the other side of the coin. And it's a very, very serious warning. And here, we see that exact same internal battle, but this time with the opposite outcome. We should probably be clear about what tyranny really means in this context. It's not just, being a little unfair. It's when our ego, our own self-interest, or our biases take over and cause us to wrong someone else. It's what happens when what we want wins out over what is right. And the consequence? It's just as stark, just as serious as the reward on the other side. This really drives home the incredible spiritual weight that comes with any kind of responsibility. Honestly, the stakes just couldn't be any higher. So look at this. It perfectly lays out that fork in the road we've been talking about. It's a simple choice, really, but with eternal outcomes. It's one or the other. On one side, you have the person whose sense of justice is stronger than their tyranny, and their outcome is paradise. But on the other, if their tyranny wins out over their justice, the outcome is hell. There's really no gray area when it comes to the final accounting. Okay, so right about now, you might be thinking, hang on, this is all about judges and big shot rulers. What does any of this have to do with my life? And that's a fair question, but this is exactly where this ancient piece of wisdom becomes super personal and super relevant to every single one of us. I mean, think about it. Isn't this principle about so much more than just some formal title? Isn't it really about any time our words, our choices, our actions have an impact on another person? And the answer to that is a huge, resounding yes. This right here is the key takeaway for all of us. It doesn't matter if you're a parent trying to do what's best for your kid, a manager leading a team, a teacher in a classroom, heck, even just a friend giving advice. In all those moments, you hold a position of trust. You have a little bit of authority in someone else's life. Seriously, just think about your own life. That internal scale, that balancing act between justice and tyranny, it's happening all the time. It's there in our own homes, right, when we're dealing with our family. It's there at work with coworkers. It's in our communities. It's in every single tiny interaction we have with another human being. But where does the battle really take place? It starts and it ends right inside our own heart. We could almost call it the daily scale, because it's not some big one-time judgment. It's this constant moment-by-moment balancing act. Every time you have a conversation, you're choosing, is my ego going to speak or is fairness?
When you make a decision, you're choosing, am I going to prioritize my own comfort or what's actually right? Even in the tiny fleeting thought about someone else, you're choosing kindness or you're choosing cruelty. And all those little choices, those are the weights that slowly tip the scale one way or the other.
So, as we wrap this up, this teaching leaves every single one of us with a really direct and personal challenge. That scale, it's in our hands. Every day, every moment. And the weight of our choices, the big ones and the small ones, is what ultimately determines our path. So the question is, justice or tyranny? Which one are you going to choose today?